Hi, friends. Welcome back to Marriage Investors. My name is Marcellus,
And I'm Val.
and we're glad to be here today. We're going to pick up on our last topic that we talked about, and that's bringing value to your spouse. How to bring value to your spouse. What we're going to talk about today. And as we go through and talk about we push the positive side of marriage, meaning the things that we talk about are from a positive perspective. And today's topic on how to value a wife, we're going to pick up from our last episode. And today we're going to talk about what our topic, Val?
Valuing our spouse and how to appreciate
And
and gratitude.
gratitude. How to appreciate and gratitude. So the biggest thing as far as appreciation and gratitude is not to take each other for granted, right, Val?
That's right. That's right. Not taking each other for granted. That's the key. That's the key. It can get we can get it's easily said than done.
Easily said and done. Okay. So when we look at taking each other for granted, Val, you want to go into that a little bit more?
Yeah. Well, over the past 4 decades for us our married, and we saying that for us, but just think about any of us for his marriage or workplace or anywhere. Many times we get too acquainted with each other and the gifts, and we basically can flow, but in our flowing and whatever we do, not even probably intentional. We just don't say thank you enough. And usually, sometimes our spouse just need to hear that thank you and I appreciate what you're doing. But many times we get so busy to again that we just assume that that you appreciate it.
So during our working days, I think I can remember Valerie improving on this later on in our work career, and she was working with kids, and she was learning the teaching them the proper, after they do things, say thank you and all. So really that helped me at home by her just telling thank you after anything that she did for you, say, oh, thank you. And that was and what we want to emphasize is the little things, day in, day out, that you do in your marriage that puts you on I guess, a trajectory or in a direction to go in a positive way. Would you say that, Valerie? And that's why I guess that going back to the first point I was making, that's why we push the positive sides of marriage, because you can get so bored and so into the routines, into the grinds, into the mundane, to you don't appreciate the little things, and the things we're saying thank you is so important.
Yeah, I was listening to a spouse that was saying, well, why you say thank you after everything, basically. They said they know that you appreciate it, but really, they really don't. And that is just a big thing in anything in our life. And I was thinking about us now in each other's space more, of not from an 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. We're basically here together a lot. And you just assume. But I just realized that gratitude for anybody, anything you're doing, brings a posture. It brings a posture of that you care, that you care, and it's just very important. So Many people, I know Marcellus said, was little, and these are practical, but you need to just think about it. That how often in a day's time do you send a text to maybe your spouse, just saying thank you for just fold up, just say thank you. Sometimes it's good to say thank you for folding the clothes, thank you for washing the car, or when they open the door for you, thank you. But to name it what they do and send them a text and just do that daily, and that will help the connection. I believe that will help the connection of you learning of a caring, and that other spouse feel that you really care what they do.
It gives positive energy, I think, to your relationship by doing these things. Saying the simple thing is thank you. Like notes, you put notes in my lunchbox. All kind of, all kind of things to say, oh, thank you for providing for our family, and thank you. So that gratitude, that appreciate, and then that just leads up to our next topic, and that's appreciate.
Have you ever felt that you weren't appreciated during the line of time? For as I know in the workplace, but how about in your marriage? Have you ever felt unappreciated?
Yeah,
Yeah. And so what caused that?
I think what caused it is like uh, not even as I think what caused not expressing that gratitude is what caused it. So I'm working hard, I'm doing everything that I can, and then what spears it off, it may be a negative comment, something that you might say that I didn't like or whatever, and if you're not saying any positive things, that just kind of show, oh, she don't appreciate anything that I'm doing or whatever, because I'm hearing complaints.
Complaints, yeah, and that's great. I was just thinking the other day, I had purchased a item for my grandson from Goodwill, just a nice outdoor toy, and Marcellus had that. He had cleaned it up and sprayed, did everything to have it clean. So I happened to look at the chair and everything, and I saw lines going around it, and I'm like, where those lines come from? I will not have purchased it if I looked like a child had just drew all over it. But what it was his pressure
Well, I
washer,
used the pressure washer.
and it
That's
was
what I
too
did.
and it was too strong. And so here he is. He helped me put it in the car, very heavy, did all that work, and then come to and I'm going outside looking at what happened, and so he was quiet because so just that gesture, guys, I'm just saying just that fast that, and I had to say, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry because that he did, because he had did all that time, and that's how it is. Sometimes we have to be careful that if it's not a certain way or how we expected something, we might not give a thank you or might not act as if we're appreciative. So that taught me right there. Here we go, over 4 decades, and you're always learning, guys. You're always changing, and you should always want to be, because you want to be the best to your spouse. But that taught me right there a little bit about myself as well, and both of us like things nice. So that's what I'm talking about, of feeling appreciated. Sometimes we might get a little too critical of something being just like we want it.
Yeah, and you talked about that in that other episode, expectation. What are you
Yeah,
expecting?
yeah,
And
we did.
you brought
That's
that
right.
up.
I sure
So
did.
this is just kind of
Piggyback on that.
piggybacking on
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So that's some good good practical stuff. But if the enemy would love to just in our marriage to let that bitterness and offense and that neglect, but we must be committed to this gratitude and appreciation. And what it does, it closed the door to it closed the door for that resentment, and then it opens the door to connection. Isn't it? And that what it does, babe?
Yeah, it really does. It does open the door to connection, just to know that that person cares, like I said before, and just the person cares, and you're giving them grace, a lot of grace, and just giving each other grace. But that's anything, even that the Lord, He really takes joy and privilege in us thanking Him and having gratitude. All
Yes.
throughout the scriptures, He says that in everything give thanks, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. In the will of God, and that's in First Thessalonians 5:18. So if God is desiring us to be an attitude of gratitude, who are we not to? It's like we have to connect the principles in our marriage from the principles of the Bible. That's really, sometimes it's a disconnect, but that's, if God is asking us, He said, in everything give thanks, we should be also have an attitude of gratefulness and appreciation for our spouse.
Thank you. So the verse, and we always going to give you a verse. The verse for this episode is from First Thessalonians 5:18. And in everything give thanks, for it is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. That's the verse Valerie was just talking about. So in all things, and that your spirit of gratefulness, it helps us so much. It gets our eyes focused off of our challenges, over our eyes focused off of our situation, our problem that we might be faced with right now. And then it kind of refocuses us to thank God, in everything giving thanks to Him. Lord, I just want to thank you for today. I just want to thank you for how you've blessed me with just a beautiful home. You blessed me with a beautiful wife. You blessed me, and just being grateful to Him. And then, that gratefulness, that gratitude and appreciation should also, just flow from Him, from giving, thanks and honor to God, and flows right on to your next relationship with your marriage, and just showing gratefulness and thankfulness and appreciation for your spouse and the gifting that I had. And you know what? We can be critical, but let's go the positive direction, like we talked about at the beginning, the positive focus. When you say, Val?
That's right. Just like you said, guys, I was just thinking about, if you, everything you see is constantly nitpicking, I will say, it takes away from appreciation. So you just have to watch the nitpicking and so, like, again, back to saying your standard or your expectation. You just have to make sure you ask yourself, who am I comparing my standard to? Why has it got to be my way all the time? But to just give each other some grace and just keep that attitude of gratitude, of admiring each other's giftings. Admiring each other's giftings. And sometimes when you've been married for a long, when you first got married, you loved each other's gifting. You loved what they did. You did a lot of laughter and kindness and just, always, oh, thank you, just full of it. But over time, we can get where we just, again, take each other for granted. And we just don't appreciate each other's gifting that you admired when you first met each other or was attracted. And that can cause you to start not being appreciative, being nitpicky, not being appreciative of the gifts that you admire in that spouse or in you,
Oh, that's a good point, because
Yes.
I know early on, and one key thing that attracted me to you was your kindness. And I always say that kindness. So when you think about that person, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the good attributes or the good things that they do, and appreciating those? So just kind of refocusing and give you kind of a whole new outset, a whole new outlook on your perspective when you look at your relationship and you look at your marriage. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Just a few things we want to remind you of is to, if you are liking these videos and some of the things that we're saying, and share it with someone. Share it, and go on and go to the channel and subscribe. We want to build a community of couples who wants to go in that positive direction in their relationship. And as you can look, if you look behind us, you can see on my fireplace ledge up there, I have my book. It's been out 1 month. It's called Forever Together, Unveiling the Keys to a Lasting Marriage Connection. And a lot of these principles and things that we're going to be talking about it's in that book. And go to my website at www.marriageinvestors.net. We got all kind of great resources. So just want to let you know about those things. Until next time, just want to say stay connected, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys, and be grateful.
Thanks.